All right, guys, springtime is here. And as you guys know, I love showing you guys specific stretch technique that I use to activate the certain meridian channels that are basically governed by our organ systems, certain organ systems. And in springtime, liver and gallbladder are the main organs that are being expressed during this season. And so naturally, we want to try to go in there and really fortify those organs with certain herbs like Sazandra berry and also movement techniques. And I found this movement technique through a lady named Carla McEwen, so I was going to give a shout out to her. It's called resistance flexibility. And the big part of this is that we're actually going into the fascia. If you don't know what fascia is, I highly suggest you look it up. This stretching technique has been so powerful for me. You know, inside our fascia, this is where we basically hold all of our past emotions, scar tissues, trauma. It's in our fascia. But what we don't realize is that our fascia is 2 to 6 times as strong as our muscles. But when we do a typical static stretch, we're trying to stretch our muscles, we really don't get anywhere. And I don't know if anyone else has experienced that. I myself have. I was very unflexible for a long time. I still feel pretty unflexible, definitely way more flexible than ever. But by stretching with this technique, you're actually able to stretch the fascia. When the fascia is relaxed and the scar tissue is undone in there, because there's not a lot of nerve endings in there that are sending signals to the brain too. So I just want to mention that. It's kind of tough to stretch unless you use this technique that I'm about to show you guys, which is called resistance flexibility. Anyways, I don't want to go into the details of the fascia and all that. That's not what this is about. Let's get right into this video. We're going to start with gallbladder, and then the balancing stretch of that is liver. All right, guys, so here we go. All right, so this is a tricky one to show. So excuse me not being in front of the camera, but here's what we're going to do. So the way I like to start this stretch is I like to go in a little bit of downward dog. And don't worry, you're not worshiping a demon. I've seen some people say that about yoga poses. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Anyways, take your right foot and put it in pigeon. Now, take your left leg and really push that leg back so you just kind of fall like this. And what we're going to do is, see how my elbows are like so. Make sure also your foot is curled up, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to put my head on the ground like so, okay? And then I'm going to push up, right? And you would think, oh, I'm just pushing up with my arms. But I'm not. Where I'm pushing up is in my legs. So I really want to activate this area right here, this IT band that comes around. If you want to check out MoveU, these guys they know all the muscles and everything. They're amazing. But basically what we're doing is when I come down, I'm going to push up with my legs. I'm going to breathe. You have to breathe. Okay? And I'm pushing down into the floor. So it's like I'm kicking down into the floor like that. That's what I'm doing. I'm pushing, and I'm doing the same thing with my back leg too. And I come up. As I come up, I breathe. And look, guys, it doesn't have to be the strongest. It doesn't have to be like that. Start small, start gentle. Get in the rhythm. This is how you get into the fascia. Again, the fascia is 2 to 6 times stronger than your muscles, but it doesn't have the amount of nerves that your muscles have. So you literally don't feel the pain. So because there's no pain to feel, there's no strenuousness in it at all. I just made that word up. But you get what I'm saying, hopefully. So the idea is that you can't just and get in there. It's got to be a low and slow. It's got to be steady. And I always say at least do 10 to 12 reps. So forehead on the mat. Breathe in, breathe out. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just slowly pushing down into the mat. Pushing all my feet. My front here, and you'll feel it. You'll feel it all back here. You'll feel it in here. And if you're not, then just keep going until you feel it. But you really should feel it underneath here, almost underneath your IT band, up into your glute. Right? And we'll do 10 of these. And for the video's sake, I'm going to switch over because you do have two legs, so you have to do the other side as well. I know the liver and gallbladder are over here, but to activate this meridian channel, you really have to work both sides. So here we are again, just on the opposite side. You guys saw how I switched over. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. And sometimes I'll just rep it out like this. Sometimes I'll come up like this and really get into that stretch. That's the real proper way to do it. Breathe. Breathe. Keep that foot bent. Make sure that foot's staying bent. Sometimes it wants to go flat. And that is that is gallbladder, excuse me. And next I'm gonna show you guys liver. And again, this is so powerful because we can get into certain areas. Say we're being gall. Say we're thinking about the past, right? Say there's something that's been bothering us emotionally that's happened to us. And this is a technique that you can use to get into those emotions. Like, you know, I've done yoga, I've done tons of stretching techniques, but I'm here to tell you guys, like, excuse me with the camera. I'm here to tell you guys, like, when you do these types of stretches and techniques, like I've had full-on emotional releases. You start noticing your brain starts wiring itself differently. You start rewiring yourself. When you can blast through, get in the fascia and get blast through that scar tissue and get that nervous system rocking, something happens. You release the issues in your tissues. And this is, again, one of the most powerful techniques in the world that I've ever done. And I like to take it and compound it with my power plate, which takes it even farther because we've got vibration happening. So all those nerves in the fascia is like as I'm stretching and pulling through. Oh, that's extremely advanced, and it's something that I don't suggest anyone just try. I suggest you start here. This is where I started. And there's a couple advancements to it. But just to show the book, Resistance Flexibility. Sorry, it's all dirty. I take it outside and sometimes get mud and dirt and stuff on it because I like to do this outside as well. But again, I know a lot of us have liver gallbladder issues, so I wanted to take a moment and talk about how this has helped that emotional, psychological aspect of my life just through stretching. And it's stretching in a very specific way, okay, where resistance flexibility is what we're doing. So the cool thing is that not only do you feel amazing, you feel better, you get flexibility like instantly, and you get it without all the pain that you normally would get in a static stretch. I know a lot of people that have done gymnastics, and when they go to gymnastics class, they're like forced to stretch at the end of the class till they're sore, and they're literally just tearing their muscles and they're manipulating their body to go into a position that it doesn't want to go into. But when you understand resistance flexibility and the fascia and you stretch this way, your flexibility naturally happens. And I'm actually working on doing the splits right now. I'm a guy who could never even touch his toes. I could barely get down to my shins. Like I was that tight. I had scoliosis, had a really tight back. My bottom disc are basically like on top of each other. So I've had a lot of issues with flexibility, and I'm getting closer and closer. So I can't wait to show you guys that. But there was no way I could do this without learning this technique. It's amazing. And talk about a stress reliever and a time saver. So if you only have a little bit of time to do anything, you know, one of the crucial 4 steps is movement. This is the movement we should be doing. It's low impact. It gets into the meridians. It gets into the fascia. It gets into the areas of our body where we're kind of having all this like bound up emotions, all this stuff that kind of restricts us in life. It's all inside of us and we can get it out. We're a macro and micro, right? The universe is within us. All 12 zodiac are within us. All these emotions are within us. All these attributes and traits are within us. And by learning how to stretch this way, we're actually able to go beyond just flexibility and physical, flexibility, right? It's more than just physical. It's psychological and it's spiritual. when you stretch this way. And it's really working on with you, and you're the guru, you're the one, right? And you're working within yourself and your nature to unlock the things that are blocking you. And that's why I love this stuff so much, because we all are on our own journey. We all have our own stuff. We all have our own issues. What is the most effective way for us to like compound all these different modalities and get the most benefit out of our day? It's right here. And I never thought it was true until someone stretched me and showed me these stretch technique, that I had psychological release, spiritual awakening from stretching. Yeah, I've seen the holotropic breath work. Stuff's amazing. I've seen the guys that sit up there and that stuff's cool. I'm not making fun of that stuff at all. I think it's awesome. I just don't have time to do that, because when I get out from something like that, my body's all tight. I need to move. I'm a mover. I need to move my body. And I feel like a lot of you guys are this same way. You get up, you go, you have kids, you have businesses. You've got stuff you've got to do. You got shit you got to do. You don't get time to do all this fancy crap all the time. And this is something that if you can apply it in your life, it doesn't take long. 10 reps each side. You could get this book. You could see that there's obviously way more stretches. But if you just focus on the organs of the season as you come upon them, as we're embodied through them, then the results are even more profound and go deeper. So why not? And you're only having to focus on 1 to 2 organ groups a season. So that's amazing, right? And the organs that go throughout the season, these are the main organs of the body. So if you can keep them healthy, then everything else should fall right in place. All right, guys, so next we're going to be going into liver. All right, so for liver, it's a little bit different. So I want to show you guys my feet, and then I'm going to bring it up to my upper body. So when you're doing liver, you want to be feet facing forward, and honestly, I'm a little bit more than shoulder width apart on my legs, right? But as I do the stretch, I'm gripping the floor, like, right? And I'm going to be flexing. So I'm flexing my glutes and I'm flexing my groin right in here. And I'm contracting that together, just like this. See that? So that is the motion we do when we do the stretch. So I want to show you guys that first. And I also want to say, I'm showing you guys more of the advanced methods. So again, if this is too much for you, then I suggest you get the book and start with the beginner stuff. It's not that I don't want to start there for you guys. I just want to give you guys the most bang for your buck. And I know most of you guys are athletes, you work out, so I just kind of bypass that. I bypassed a lot of the beginner stages in this. But if you have issues in those areas, then you probably need to start there. All right, so you saw how my feet were. See, I'm kind of like in this horse stance. Not quite like horse stance. My knees are bent. My feet are gripping the ground. Okay, and then here's what we do. We take our left hand, okay, and we're going to put it over our head like so. And I'm going to turn my body like this, right? Try not to turn in. Don't turn too far out. Just right. Get that nice stretch right here. Then I'm going to kind of do what I call not quite a gable grip, but it's a type of grip where I just grab my hands like this. Hopefully you guys can see that there. So I grab my hands like this, okay? And as I rotate, I'm going to rotate like this and then whoop. Notice I didn't come down like this. So I went from here, and came up. And I'm really using that hand to push, push, and breathe at the same time that I'm flexing. This is involved. This is liver. Welcome to your liver. Amazing. True freedom is here. So here we go. So we start here and I breathe in and I breathe out. I grip. I'm pulling here. And then now I'm pulling there. So first with my arms, I'm kind of pulling down, resisting here. So I'm kind of like, I'm doing this grip. So it's, and then, and I know I'm making all those sounds. I'm just trying to show you guys. You don't need to use that type of intensity. Now, if you're in rep 8 or 9 of this, then use that intensity. And know that that intensity can take you a long way in doing this. But don't just start there. You're going to hurt yourself. Get the movement going, get the flow going, get the energy moving, get it going where it needs to go, and then boom, and then hit it, you know. But if you sit there and you just try to come out of the gate, wow, 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 and you're not moving right, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt yourself. And look, this is extremely simple for the amount of benefits you get and time that you're saving. So the simplicity in all this is really there. It's just involved. But just like making magnesium bicarbonate, once you figure it out, it's cakewalk, right? All right, so here we go. We're going to do this again. So we're basically right here. Breathe in, then breathe out. And every time I do this, I feel like pop, 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 pop. All these pops in my body. It's amazing. I mean, I just feel like I'll be honest, I feel like I took some CBD. I'm just like, just like everything's perfect after you do these stretches. I don't know how to explain it. My body just feels amazing. I feel so grounded and calm and zen and balanced, but I have energy and I'm ready to go. So I'm not all cattywampus where I'm all docile. You guys know I wouldn't like sign up for that. All right, so let's do the other side just to kind of even this out. So breathe in. And start back over. That's a better one right there. That's a real good one. Really get those hands up and out. Almost look up. Look up at that. Breathe out. Here. And again, I'm gripping the floor. I'm gripping here. I'm creating resistance. And again, it seems so weird to do this. It's like the weirdest thing ever to resist while you flex. That's why you start small. That's why you start slow and you just practice. So I highly encourage you guys to check out this book. I'm not affiliated with him at all. But however, I've been gifted with some healers in my life and they use this technique with other techniques, and that's where the power plate and some other things come in. But I highly suggest if this interests you and you want to go deeper into this practice, that you check out Bob Cooley's book, Resistance of Flexibility, and just check out resistance flexibility in general. It's amazing. Well, I gotta go. My farm worker just showed up. So I was looking out the window. We gotta get some more stuff going. We're almost in Taurus and things are slowing down, but right now we're still getting plants in the ground. So anyways, guys, amazing stretch for your liver and your gallbladder, okay? So many of us need that liver gallbladder support. I know you need that support. This is a phenomenal way to support yourself every day for free. Spend 10 minutes just doing these two. And they're balancing stretches. So they balance each other. And as you get into this type of stretching again, you're going to unlock all types of knowledge and information. This is like mystery school stuff to me. Just like this poster is, this stretch is like mystery school knowledge. This is knowledge that I'm positive our ancestors did and knew about. And you see a lot of it incorporated in yoga. But what I like more about this type of stretching is that it's more, I feel, psychologically involved. I feel like you have more of an idea of what you're supposed to be doing. A lot of times with yoga, it's just kind of everywhere. And I love yoga. I think yoga's great. If you're trained and know how to do yoga properly, I think you should do it. However, if you're in pain, if you're struggling emotionally, if you have a health issue, this type of stretching is part of my protocol. So, if you can't afford to do a paid consult with us or do a consult with us, I'm always adding this into with everything else. And with liver gallbladder right now, definitely focusing on Sazandra, focusing on methylsulfonylmethane, our Restore product, and a few others that you guys will hear about as you watch the story and more videos that we drop in the Instagram. So if you're not on our Instagram and you're watching this on YouTube, I highly suggest you go and check it out. If you're on IG and you're here now, we've got a lot of new followers. Check out our highlights. Check out some of the other stuff we've done to check out kind of who we are, things that interest you. Don't start checking on the highlight. I'm not going to expect you guys to do that, but if you see something that interests you, go in there and check that out. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out and ask us. All right, guys. Charles Barber, founder and formulator of Crucial 4. and Crystal 4 Farms, and I'm super excited to show you guys the spring stretch. And remember, the sound of the liver is shh.